What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench, guys, for our very last episode of the 12 Sprues of Kit-mas. And yeah, I know we are very much out of Christmas. We're moving into January, but that's okay. I wanted to finish this, so let's go ahead and dive into the last episode and see what we have to build this time. Now, I only have a couple of options. I know we have the J7W and we have the P40 still in there. So I don't know what the girlfriend put in this last slot, but well, let's go ahead and let's find out. Last episode was really cool. I really enjoyed the last kit of ours. So this one I'm hoping is going to be fun. Either way, I think we're in good hands with either of those kits. Let's go ahead and punch on through and find that label. I know sometimes she tapes them to the walls. So let's go ahead and reach in there and oh, there it is. All right, I found it. Let's go ahead and pull that out. It's actually taped to the wall. So that's awesome. Let's go ahead and check it out. And okay, it's the Shinden. All right, I kind of had a feeling it'd be that. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and grab the box and take a look at the parts. Now this is a Hasegawa kit, so I'm pretty sure that this is going to be an easy build. I don't really see any problem with that so far. All the Hasegawa kits that I have built, usually, well, they're pretty decent. They go together well, not really that many problems, it just kind of falls together. So great company, and I'm excited to go ahead and build this particular aircraft. Now, from what I understand, this is one of those very rare, very late war designed aircraft. It only made it through prototype phase, and the prototype only flew for like 45 minutes, and that was it. So it never saw any combat, never saw any of that stuff. So this is going to be a really easy model to build in terms of weathering. We'll do a little bit of panel line wash, but that's it. We're not going to chip, we're not going to fade, nothing like that, because this is one of those aircraft that barely saw any use. So we're not really going to see a lot of heavy wear or heavy weathering or anything like that. So I'm actually pretty pleased about that. It's going to make my job a lot easier. Again, very typical Hasegawa layout. We have our single poly bag with all of our parts, and we have a single sheet of decals with a fold-out set of instructions. Now, on the instructions, we only have one scheme we can build. Very simple there, no problem. We don't have a lot of decals, to be honest, just the national markings and some stenciling. That's about it. Everything else on this kit should be pretty simple. Now, I actually don't have any references on this particular aircraft, so I'm going to just wing it here. But I'm kind of thinking of this more like practicing, getting ready to build the 1/48 scale, which Joe over at Mad Genius sent me for a Christmas gift. So let's go ahead and check out the individual pieces and parts and all that and give us an idea of what we're looking at. Parts look excellent, guys. I'm very excited to say that these do not look like they're going to be that difficult at all. Beautiful recessed panel lines, very different than the actual 1/48 scale, which is raised panel lines. So this is a step in the right direction. So let's not waste any time, guys. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. We're going to start out in the cockpit and we're going to do a little scratch building as well. I'm going to just add some extra parts, add some details, add some wiring in there. I've got a couple of reference pictures I found online of other models, and I'm going to just add in a couple of things here and there. You're really not going to be able to see it. That canopy is a single piece and closed, but that doesn't matter. We're going to have fun, guys. Let's go ahead and jump in here on the last episode here for 12 Sprues and get this thing built up. Alright guys, we are back, and I gotta say, so far this model is going together beautifully. We went ahead and overcoated the entire kit with our Stynylrez gray primer. I've got a couple of seams here and there that I need to go ahead and fix. I must have missed them in my initial pass, but that's okay. That's kind of one of the reasons why we prime. It just highlights all our little mistakes and our seam issues, so we can go ahead and take care of that now instead of waiting until we get into paint and then we have to repaint the whole thing because we ruined the paint job. So this is a good time to go ahead and clean up any lingering seams or anything that needs to be fixed. Went ahead and added in some wiring on the inside of the cockpit. I added some seat belts. I added in just some side consoles I found off some 1/72 scale model. I just cut off different parts of the instrument panel and glued them to the side of the cockpit. It doesn't really matter. You can't see them, so it's kind of a waste, but at least starts flexing those scratch building muscles again, which I haven't done in a while. So this is actually a very nice looking cockpit. You're not really going to see it though. Unfortunately, it is hidden behind that entire canopy. So you know what? It is what it is, guys. If you recall, last episode, I did a little bit of panel shading along with some marble coating. So I want to go ahead and try a marble coat on this aircraft as well. We are going to come in with some marbling coat of some intermediate blue. The color I'm using for the bottom has a little bit of a bluish, kind of a cool tint to it. So that I think is going to match up nicely. On the top, also green is on the cooler side, so we might be able to get away with a little bit of marbling coat up there as well. So we're going to go ahead and try that and just play around with it. So back into that time lapse, guys. Let's do some detail painting. Let's do some pre-shade. Let's do some camo patterns. Get those marbling coats all in there. Get some gloss coat on there, glue on the parts, and we'll see how it looks. Let's continue pushing on. And we are back. As you can see, the model is more or less painted and we've gloss coated it. We are ready for decals. Now I did mention that I was going to do a little bit of a marbling coat with some intermediate blue, and that actually worked pretty well. You can kind of see it. I don't know how well you can see it on camera though, but it is there and I am digging it. So that's pretty cool. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to decals, and that shouldn't be that difficult at all because I mentioned earlier we just really have the main national markings with a little bit of stenciling here and there. So we're going to go ahead and move into decals, and then we're going to do some final assembly, and then I want to weather this down just a little bit with some AK panel liners. I'm going to go ahead and use the one for blue and gray, and then I'm going to use the one for green and brown. Just kind of flop them on there, let them dry, and then we're going to wipe them down and see what we come up with. That's pretty much all I want to do because this thing didn't see any combat, it didn't see any action, it flew for like 45 minutes, and that's it. So there's no point in going above and beyond and weathering this thing and chipping. No need for all of that. We're just going to go ahead and jump into decals, get this all decaled up, get all the parts assembled, get a nice satin coat on there, and we're going to call it a day, and I'll show you what we come up with. So let's go ahead and jump back into that last time lapse of the series, guys. Let's see what we can do. We'll be right back. Well, everybody, we are back. We have finished our 1/72nd scale Shinden by Hasegawa. What a cool looking plane, right? I don't know much about the actual aircraft, but this thing is pretty wicked looking. Let me go ahead and bring it on out for you, and you can check out the final product. And here it is, guys. 1/72nd scale Hasegawa J7W. What a cool and unusual looking airplane, and honestly, a very nice model. Didn't have any fit issues. Everything basically dropped into place. I added some weight up on the front nose there to make sure it wasn't a tail dragger, but this thing looks pretty epic, I gotta say. From its giant pusher prop to its really sleek nose with 4 30mm cannons in the front there, man, this thing would have been a beast if it actually flew and it got into operation. But go ahead and give you a close-up here and you can check out some of the details. Hopefully you can notice that there is a bit of panel shading through the individual panels. I did add stuff in the cockpit. I added some seatbelts and some spare wires and consoles and whatnot. You really can't see any of them, but they are there. I also added that aerial coming off the front of the nose there, and I strung some easy line from the nose to about the middle of the aircraft. And honestly, yeah, that is it. This was a super fun build, very easy to do. I would say though that I should have painted on the national markings and the little wing warning areas in red. That would have been much nicer. And I'm not sure if the bottom color is actually correct. I have a feeling it should be a bit more on the greener side. I'm okay with it. Like I said, this is just kind of in preparation for the 1/48 scale Hasegawa that I do eventually plan on building. But this was a great model, guys. So much fun to build. The guns were a little bit wonky, but everything else, man, just a beautiful kit, guys, honestly. But I will say the one drawback on the kit there are the large clear sections of decals for the, I think, fuel tank markings and also the rear nose step on those flaps. That was the one area that was really, really difficult to do. What I should have done is come in and painted the entire thing red and then come in with some tape and masked off the lines, and then went ahead and proceeded as normal, pre-shade, post-shade, all that good stuff with the camo color. That's what I should have done. I didn't because, to be honest, I kind of ran out of steam and I ran out of time. I really wanted to get this done within the month of December. I did not. Too many things going on in my personal family life, so really couldn't get a chance to get out there and get these done. But I came so close, guys. Only 2 episodes off. One of these years, I will get out there and I will build 12 kits in 1 month. I will do it. But until then, guys, we are good. We finished off the 12 sprues. It's in the history books. I am super happy with all the models I built this year. They've all been awesome. Most of them actually ended up in my display case, and only a few of them made it onto my tree. So maybe next year, if we go ahead and do this series again, maybe we'll put a little bit more effort into ornaments. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes, guys. Again, 12 Sprues of Kit-mas finished off a little late, but hey, better late than never. And I am so happy to have taken you guys along on the journey. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for today. The series is done, wrapped up. We're going to go ahead and take a couple of days and figure out our next build. Got a couple of group builds that I'm really interested in jumping in on. Also want to go ahead and make my end of the year 2021 recap video as well. So look for that coming up soon. And until our next episode, guys, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. And we'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds for a brand new build and the very first kit of 2022. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here soon.